Hello, thank you for joining us today. This is Annette Manius with Oasis Solutions, and we are going to do a short preview of Sage 100 Accounts Receivable. So I wanted to point out first that I have set up my Accounts Receivable and some other modules over here in the favorites. So I'm going to assume that you looked at our other video that has the preview of Sage 100, and if you didn't, you should go back and take a look at that because it shows you all the things on the screen and the different features of Sage 100. So I'm going to dive right into customer maintenance. And if I click on customer maintenance over there on my favorites, it's going to open up that customer maintenance window. Customer maintenance is for adding customers or making changes to customers. We also have a customer inquiry that allows you to just have people that want to inquire on the customers but can't make any changes. So it asks for my customer number. And what I'm going to do is do a lookup right here. And it shows me the information about my customer. So you'll see on here address, city, state, last activity, that type of information. That is a custom lookup that I did. And you'll notice down here at the bottom it says new. If I do standard, it'll show me the regular lookup. So this is what I would think of as the out-of-the-box lookup. And I can create different views here also from the custom. So I'll call custom and I'll just put my initials in here and say that's my default. So if I go to next, you can see down over on the left are all the fields that I can use. I'm just going to double click city, state. I have zip already on there, and I can scroll down and say what's their terms code. I want to see their terms code and maybe some information about them, date of last activity. Let's see, what else do we want to know about them? Lots of different things you could see. Last statement date. Oh, current balance. That's what I was looking for, their current balance. And once I have that on there, I can, tell it how I want to position those columns. So I'm going to get rid of this sort field. And I want my address to go up here, and I want my city up, and my state under that, and then my zip, and then my phone. And I'm going to put current balance because I want to know that pretty readily. I'm going to actually put that up there next to my name. Customer name. So I'll do next, and I can filter what customers I want to see. So I don't usually recommend that people do it here because when you set the filter, then it applies it all the time, and people get confused and they say, well, where's the rest of my customers? Well, it's because you put a filter on it, but you can filter within the lookup also. So I'll do next. I'm going to say every time I look up, I want to do name and then contains and then filter. And you can have as many of these custom lookups as you want for different things. So, you can use them in different ways. And you can also set a lookup if you wanted a global lookup. Everybody has the same lookup. You could do that as well. So you can see now I have that data here on my lookup. And then down on the bottom right, I have a little Excel button that allows me to export this lookup to Excel. So let's say you're going to send out some type of a notice to customers that you want to create labels for example. You could create this custom lookup and then export it out, and then you have your labels there. So while I'm on here, I can sort by any of these columns. So city, state, zip, anything that I want, date of last activity also. So anything that you want to put on this lookup, and then you can sort by that. You can also do, I'll show you this little button over here on the right. I could zoom in and out of these customers. So let's say if I look at Carter's Computers, and I look over here, and it zooms me into their data, and I think, oh, that's not the Carter I was looking for. And it takes me right back to the list. And if I had another Carter on here, I could go into them and zoom in and zoom out. So it makes it really easy, so I don't have to go totally in, totally out, totally in, totally out. So just a quick way to do that. So I am going to choose my American Business computers. And this is the main screen of the customer maintenance. So if you had seen my other video about the main features of Sage 100, you would have seen that we use a module called Custom Office. It allows you to customize these screens. So I can add things to the screens. I can take them off. We can customize them by user. So we have a customer right now that said, my salespeople don't need to see certain things on here. So we use Custom Office to be able to take those items off the screen. Really, really nice module that comes with the system. And then, so from here, while I'm on this front screen, there's Paperless Office, and that allows you to set up your emailing of invoices, statements, sales orders, anything to that customer. So the nice thing about that is I can email things out to the contacts that are on this customer, but then let's say you also wanted someone else, maybe your salesperson for that customer, to get those invoices. You can do that as well. It makes it really, really easy, really flexible. Some additional information that's captured here. And again, remember, you can take off this information that if you don't want this on here. So very easy. And then last payment date. So you have a lot of information here with the aging down here at the bottom as well. And then summary. The system keeps as many years of data as you want. So you can see this one goes back to 2011. So I could actually, if I had data in there from 2011, I could see this customer's sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit. This information is also on reports. So it's not just here, it's on reports as well. And then history. So I can see their, again, over on the right, I can do their years, but I can see their sales, cost of goods sold, profit, percentage, cash received, number of invoices. And then I have a little toggle switch, and I can see current year, prior year information as well. Again, these are on reports too, but you can see it from the customer level here. And if I go to invoices, it brings in all of the invoices for that customer. So you'll see this one has a zero balance. And so if I click on it, it tells me down here that it was paid and what the check number was it was paid with. I can also double click that, and it will drill me down into that actual invoice and show me what all was on that invoice and information about that invoice. Who the salesperson was, if we had a deposit on it, lots of different information. Over on the right, while I'm here, I can print an aged invoice report for this customer or a statement. So let's say I'm on the phone with a customer and they say, well, I didn't receive that invoice, but could you give me a statement? So right from here, I can click on that and you can email a statement to them. You can also, when I did that drill down here at the bottom, I can print or email a copy of this invoice to that customer while you're on the phone with them. So a lot of times you'll hear customers say, well, I never received that invoice, and that's why I didn't pay you. So there you go. They can get it quickly. And then transactions are all the ins and outs. And again, I can sort by any of these columns that are here. And then this 8th tab is open sales orders. So if you have the sales order module, you can see all the open sales orders, and I can double click and drill down and see what's on that order. This customer is on credit hold, but I can see what's on those orders. So again, what's really nice about this, you're on the phone with a customer and they're talking, and you're talking about maybe invoices, and they say, well, what about that order that I placed last week? Do you all have that? What's the status of that? You can easily go there. We see all that information in one place, so that makes it really nice. And then up here on the right-hand side, I can have multiple contacts. I can have multiple ship-to addresses. There's no limit on the ship-to addresses. And then I can also see the items that this customer has bought from us. So in the system, in Sage 100, you could, from the customer's perspective, you can see what items they've bought. And then from the inventory perspective, you can see who has bought what items. So if you use an inventory, that's really helpful as well. So you're able to see that. And then the last thing on this customer maintenance, this is what I really like, and we use this a lot at our office, is these memos. So I'll show you what we do at our office. So when we call past dues, we have a memo code for each year. So you might put in, and we'll call it past dues. And down here in the body, you would type in the information about the phone call that you're making to that customer. You know, called Mary, she said the check's in the mail, yada, yada, yada. And then you call her the next week, check's in the mail, and I forgot about it. So you have a whole history of that, those dialogues with that person. So that's really nice. We use a different year for each memo code. Just makes it easier so you don't have this huge diatribe of information here. You can also do an auto display. So if I had a memo that I wanted everybody that pulled up this customer, if they're doing an order or whatever they're doing, that this pops up. So whatever you want to say, it's any kind of message that you want everybody to see when they look at this customer. You have some reminder dates and start and end dates here and expiration dates of the memo. You can also do attachments. So if there's any kind of agreement or anything like that with the customer, you could attach it here and have it on their system as well. So that makes it easy. Again, my purpose is always try to put everything into the system. You know, we see people using spreadsheets, and sometimes that can't be avoided. But I always like to see people have everything in the system as they can, as much as they can. So I'm going to pop down to Invoice Data Entry. So this is used if you are not using inventory. So if you're a service company and you're doing invoicing, this is where the invoices can be put in. There's also repetitive invoices. So if, let's say if you're billing for the same thing every month, then you could do repetitive invoicing as well. So I have my customer number, my invoice date, all the basic information. And if I go to the lines, I can set up whatever I want to. So I have a couple demo things in here. So here's a label, and it's just a flat dollar amount here. But then if I go to, I think this one is where I put in a quantity. So I could put a quantity of 2 at $50. It's $100. So you have different ways that you can set those up. And then the comments, while it looks like that comment field is only 30 characters, it actually is like 9,999 characters. So you could write a little book on here if you wanted to. You can also do a /C, and that allows you to put comments on here as well. The other thing that's interesting about Sage 100 and theyese screens is they're called a grid view is what we would call it. So what's nice about this is you'll notice the description is down here. I can drag that and drop it up here. Or let's say I want my GL account number, I can drag it and drop it up here. So anything that's here can go up here, anything that's here can come down here. So it just depends on how you work, and it's more of a user thing than it is anything. You know, how does my flow look? Once I set this up for me, my user, then that's the way it will stay. So which is nice. The other thing, talking about the memo codes, you can also do that under Invoice Data Entry, that I can attach anything to this actual invoice. So maybe it's an email or a PO from the customer or something like that. You can attach that here, and it will stay in history. So, which is really nice. And the Sage 100 uses Crystal reports. So all the forms, like your invoices, statements, things like that, are all done in Crystal. So a lot of times people will come to us and say, well, this is the form that we're currently using. Can we make it look the same? And I don't know that I've ever seen one that we can't. So it makes it really easy and flexible for that. Again, invoice data entry, but you can also do repetitive invoices as well, every month. Then you have cash receipts, and so that's just, of course, the typical cash receipts. I'm just gonna get some money from people, which is what we all like to do. And then I'm going to say what customer is paying. So again, there's my lookup, and it tells me what their current balance is. So Dan's TV repair, it gave me a check, and he gave me $100. You can see how much he owes us, and then I can choose what I want to pay. So I'll say this $500 invoice. We're only going to, he still owes us a $400 balance. You can also on here do GL postings too. So I can choose general ledger account number rather than invoice. So one example I like on that one is, let's say you got a tax credit or a tax refund. You could come in here and post it and just put it to a GL account number. I always like to tell people to put all of your cash that you have come in, cash, checks, credit card, whatever it is, under cash receipts. That way, if you want to look at a report, it's all there. You don't have to say, oh, okay, well, I posted this. I had this tax refund. I posted it in the GL. Everything should go through here. Makes it a lot more consistent, I think. And then, of course, the Sage 100 has an unbelievable amount of reports that come with the system. And you can also do modifications using Crystal reports to those reports. So I'm going to pull up the aged invoice report, and I'm going to show you all one that we do at our office. So we want to know about the people that are 30 days past due. So I'm just going to do a report setting called 30 days, and then say I only want to see the 30-day past due. And I can sort it by a lot of different ways. But once I save that and I run that report, every time I run it, I can choose that one, or I can choose the 45-day, or whatever I have that's in there, I can choose. So every report has this same functionality where you can have different settings on there. It really comes in handy in a lot of different ways. And one of the other things, one of the last things that I wanted to preview is the views. So these are interesting because, like, this is an open invoice view. So you'll see it's by invoice number, and I can click on it and see the information down here. But if I said I want to sort this by customer, I can do it here, or if I wanted to group it by customer, I would just pull the customer name up here, and it groups it by customer. Well, don't you hate that when that doesn't work? And then I can get subtotals by customer. So it just depends on, there it goes. So now here's my grouping by name, and then there's my balance column. And I can do a right click and say, and now I want a sum. So American Business Computers, this is what they owe us. Now if I scroll down, there's Breslin, that's what they owe us. So it's just an easy way to get that information without having to run a report. And then I can also add things to these columns here, or I can take things away as well. So this depends on, let's say, discounts. We don't ever give discounts. So let's take discount away, but then I can also add things to it too. So if I wanted to add on there any of this information, I can do that as well. Extremely flexible. So, and we help our customers to navigate this as well. The nice thing about this is I can do a save as. So let's say I have a view and I look at it like this, but then somebody else in my office doesn't want to see the view like this. They want to see it sliced differently, maybe by salesperson. They could have a different view of that information. Then I can export the data out to Excel. I can send it by email. So if I did this, let's say I did this by salesperson, and then I wanted to send them a report of all of their customers that were past due, then I can do that by exporting that out and send that page by, not exporting out, but sorry, send that page by email to them as well. So a lot of features there that we help our customers with. So that's a little preview of accounts receivable. Again, a lot of functionality there that don't have the time to help you guys with today. But please let us know if we can help you or if you have any questions.